The video I'm making today covers some very sensitive topics and imagery. If you are okay with these things, then please continue watching. To begin, these sites do not directly contain illegal material, but do show where and how to find it. So if you do find the sites mentioned, enter at your own risk. January 31st, 2007, the FBI suffered a data leak. In this data leak, people found a list of symbols that predators use to identify themselves either online or person with their preferred type. These were the symbols that they found. The swirling triangle symbol is used by predators to identify themselves as a BL, which stands for boy lover. That's what I will be referring to them as for the rest of this video. The main focus for this video is around the BL symbol. The term boy love originates from the Greek word pederasty, meaning boy lover. In modern time, this word is referred to something more commonly known as pedophilia. Now, the symbol that these people use was created by a man named Kalos in 1997. Kalos himself was, unsurprisingly, a BL, who made the logo with his partner, who was 14 when they began dating. Kalos himself was over the age of 18, mind you. In this quote by Kalos, he explains the process of creating the logo. Since our design philosophy predicates that the ideal visual symbol should be capable of being drawn in the sand with a finger, a continuous line imposed itself as the solution. In another quote by Kalos, he states, "We also wanted to create an image that was not too in your face, so as to permit the user to acknowledge its true meaning or be as non-committal as the situation demands." I mean, in these quotes by Kalos, they make it pretty clear the symbol is designed to be as minimalistic as possible, but also recognizable. This already shows how these groups prey on young boys. Before I go much further, I have to give credit to Mouthy Buddha for bringing attention to the site that then further led to these other sites that I will be speaking about. So go check out his main video on the topics. BoyWiki is essentially a Wikipedia clone used by BLs. This site hosts material related to these individuals, including magazines, podcasts, forums, chat rooms, tour links, and literature. While I was searching through BoyWiki for this video, I found another Wikipedia clone called Nugon Wiki. This site follows the same idea but focuses on maps instead. MAP stands for minor attracted persons, in other words, pedophile. Funnily enough, on Nugon Wiki, they even have their own meme section to vindicate what they refer to as their sexuality. Both BoyWiki and Nugon Wiki are maintained and updated daily. BoyWiki is ran by a man called Eteen, who has been working on the site since 2012. While searching BoyWiki, one of the links led to a self-hosted magazine publication called Fawnlet. Already in their logo, it clearly shows what the topic of this website is. The site labels itself as a magazine publisher for BLs. The faces of the magazines feature a mixture of real and AI-generated images of children, which is already unsettling. In the About section, the site claims to be the newest BL magazine on the internet. When checking the site's creation date, it showed the site first went live around July 8, 2023. They say they are a platform for the voices of BLs and state that their goal is to provide transparency into how they think and feel about life. On the site's Write For Us page, it lists requirements for contributors, including what they will and will not accept. They specifically mention looking for true stories/memories of time spent with boys. After reading that sentence on the site's Write For Us page, it made me completely avoidant of the magazines themselves because whatever stories are in there are claimed to be true. So, I don't know what's in the magazines, and if you choose to look inside them, please do be careful. The site also has a page titled Links. This page contains links to chat rooms, forums, additional magazines, manifestos, and guides. Each of these leads further down the same rabbit hole. One recurring detail across many of these sites that I noticed is they all seem to have a fondness with this book titled Penzance, which, after looking into, is about a BL relationship told from the perspective of a young boy. After investigating the site a little more and finding nothing else, I decided to move on to some of the other links provided by BoyWiki. One of these sites was a self-hosted podcast called BL Talk, ran by members of the BL community. The podcast features a panel of 7 individuals who go by DJ Dragon Lover, DJ Skeeter, DJ Lieutenant Dreamer, DJ Wolf Runner, DJ Zoom Zoom 4, DJ Dutch, and the founder, DJ XO. The podcast is hosted on a website called Wired PM Radio, sometimes spelled Weird PM Radio, which basically means that being a pedophile also means being illiterate and retarded. On the actual website for BL Talk, they have an About section and a disclaimer. At the bottom of the page is a trademark that also does not exist. The episodes cover exactly the kinds of disturbing and sensitive topics you would expect. And the audio isn't much better.
Here's your host.
Hello and welcome to BL Talk, the weekly podcast where we discuss issues of importance to minor attracted people in general and boy lovers in particular. I'm your host, Zoom Zoom 4, and joining me today on the panel is a Boys XO, Cowboy, Lennon72, Nicholas, and Wolf Runner. Welcome, guys, and we'll be discussing a topic that, frankly, I'm surprised we haven't discussed yet. Yes, today we're talking about also like because it kind of falls under the same category. Whoa. And even if they're not necessarily made for a buyer could potentially buy one and use it for that purpose, right? There's nothing that stops you from doing whatever you want to do with it once you purchased it and you got it home. I had a hard time with that.
You know, because they think they will assign traits to us. So it's just like, we are the boogeyman and people need a villain. And so once they can assign a set of traits to you, oh, that's the guy, then they don't have to think about all the work involved in figuring out who we really are, that we're decent people, that we don't need to go and touch their penis, although, yes, we want to.
Okay, but I mean, if you do, if you want to, it's the same as if you did. Just the desire condemns you right away once they find out.
In their minds, because it's so foreign.
You're going to be taken right away. You're never going to be before it.
Look, you know what? It's like I have zero desire to be with a woman or a girl, female. I mean, of childbearing age. Okay, let's just put that out there. But if I did, it'd be like American Beauty, like the movie American Beauty with Kevin Spacey. Where he is his daughter's friend, who's like 17 years old, is a cheerleader, and she's hot as heck, and but he doesn't do anything with her, and a zillion straight guys out there have feelings for a 16-year-old girl, but that doesn't mean they go and do anything about it.
Right. But what if they had feelings for a 12-year-old girl? That takes it.
Many do. I guarantee. Okay.
But society has a problem with them having. Basically, imagine this. You have a 10-year-old son, and he's hot as fuck. I mean, smoking hot. How does this affect you as a parent? Raising him, dealing with the actual person you know him to be, a part of your own flesh and blood, as well as the not-so-pretty sides to him as well that others don't see. But you can't deny that you find him incredibly attractive on a certain level, But does it just make you cringe to think about, the possibility of doing anything with him? Wouldn't that be just you turn your stomach or not? Or do you ever have secret fantasies where you're not his dad and you're with him in that kind of way? very possible that some have. So let me start with Nicholas, who I know is a father. Nicholas, tell me, when you were out with one of your sons in public and he was 10 or 11, did it cross your mind that other BLs might be noticing him, looking at him, and having thoughts
well,
about him? How
it's
did
a
you feel about that?
Yeah, this is such a great question because it strikes at the heart of who we are and how we have to grapple with ourselves, our morals, and our feelings. That we have that we didn't choose, but that were thrust upon us. Right? I didn't know any BLs back when my son was growing up. He's in his 20s now, and it's only in the past like 3 years that I've gotten to know any of you all. So it's been great. But I had, I kept that away. So I didn't know any, to
But did
be.
you know of BLs? Like,
Yes, of course.
that those
Yeah.
guys are out there. And,
I was never in the presence of other BLs that my son was with, that I knew about. But yeah, and he was hot. I mean, I think objectively, I say that. I think I've had other BLs since and look at pictures of him and say, oh my God, but I never had those feelings. So I'm always interested. I'm fascinated by BLs who do and GLs who do find their own kin attractive. I just never had that. And that's, I guess, kind of an inherent thing that we.
If any of these individuals sound familiar to you or someone you may know, please contact law enforcement and report these people immediately. Looking further into the About section reveals concerning descriptions. One example is advanced finger painting with 5th graders who have a clothing disorder, which is obviously an innuendo for something far more sinister. The founder of Wired Radio, which hosts BL Talk, goes by the name Kermie, who also ran a BL forum called Enchanted Islands. The site shut down in 2018. When looking through these sites for this video, I was shocked that only 2 of them have been publicly discussed before, including BoyWiki. The first site I visited after BL Talk was MapCamp, which again, MAP stands for Minor Attracted Persons. MapCamp was a planned meeting/getaway for MAPs that was scheduled to be hosted in Vermont, USA. The organization behind the event was a group called METAL, which stands for Map Equality, Dignity, and Liberation. After a user on X discovered the event and publicly called it out, the meeting was canceled and the group never met. Another site that had been discussed on Reddit, specifically in the r/conspiracy subreddit, is BoyChat. This site focuses on connecting BLs through discussion boards, many of which contain suspicious links and files that I did not click on. BoyChat isn't the only site of its kind. Similar platforms include MetaBoyChat, OtherChat, the Treehouse, and YCDTOBC, which stands for You Can't Do That on BoyChat. And I could only assume what that means. Another comparable site is the Christian Boy Love Forum, which follows the same structure but targets Christian BLs. Unsurprisingly, it hosts the same content with the suspicious links and images. Funnily enough, the Bible has a direct quote against people like this in Mark 9:42 that reads as, "And whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged around his neck and he were cast into the sea." So do with that what you will. Another site I came across was Boy Tales. And for the record, I did not click any links or log into any of these sites, both for my own safety and because I do not support this material. Boy Tales appears to primarily be an image board. Without logging in, you cannot see past the homepage. So I have no further information about the site. And please be careful if you do go to the site. Boy Moment and Paradise Mountain are 2 additional similar sites that require logging in or signing up, which I did not do. And again, do be careful on these sites as well. The next site differs slightly in purpose. Lifeline Chat presents itself as a therapeutic service where users can speak one-on-one about their problem. The site is active daily and displays usage metrics on its homepage. And this site is used for both BLs and GLs, as seen in the logo in the top left. One of the listed therapists goes by the name Cowboy, who is a frequent panelist on BL Talk and has spoken about being a registered sex offender. Most of the sites discussed in this video appear to be guided by or influenced by the Free Spirit, were the ones who first used the BL logo. Many of these sites link back to BoyWiki or Nugon Wiki acting as a hub. The actual site for the Free Spirits contain little content beyond a description of their purpose and a fundraiser that has not received a single cent. They appear to act as a coordinating body, setting guidelines for BL sites while presenting themselves as normal and harmless, which they are not. To conclude, if you encounter or discover any sites similar to those discussed in this video, please report them to the link shown. All of the sites shown in this video were accessible on the surface web using a standard browser. Many people assume this content only exists on the dark web, but that is not the case. Some of the sites I've went over provided onion links, but I will not be covering those. I do not believe it would be safe, and I strongly recommend avoiding them yourself. If you recognize any individuals or content mentioned in this video, please contact them and law enforcement.